All right, hey everyone. I have Zach Benson today on the call. He is the Instagram king, and he is just destroying it right now on Instagram. When it comes to Instagram and growing your followers, there's a right way of doing it. There's a wrong way of doing it, and he has the right way on lock and doing it in an approach and in ways that's blowing up people's accounts. When it comes to influencers, when it comes to luxury brands, e-commerce, you name it, he is on top of all of that. And from anyone else I've talked to in the Instagram space, he has different techniques, strategies to grow the account and also combine what you have already put together for your own personal brand, whether it's your physical products brand, doesn't matter, and to mixing that with other people who can also help you grow your brand even more too. So it's not just focused on you and growing your account only, but it's also growing your relationships with a whole bunch of other powerful people who on the back end is only going to help you grow even more. Is there any better way of explaining that, Zach?
Well, no, you put it very nicely, and thanks for the kind words, and thanks for having me on. Excited to be here, guys.
Awesome, man. So, guys, he is the founder of Assistagram, and Assistagram. I mean, I can read it off right here on the site. I have Assistagram is a dedicated team to help influencers and luxury brands grow their Instagram presence, real people, real experience, and I would also say real strategies because there's a lot of flakiness going on there in this space, right?
Yeah.
So, but let's take it back. So right now, Assistagram has a network of 220 million Instagram followers, which is absolutely insane. I remember talking to you a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and you were this was just blowing up, but where it's at today is just crazy, man. Um, but let's take it back to before you started this Instagram. What got you into wanting to be? I guess what got you initially in the Instagram space in general?
Yeah. So to tell you a little bit about my story, I was actually born in Korea, and then I grew up in Iowa. And what happened was, I was this shy kid growing up, didn't really talk in class, didn't participate, and so I finally found something that I was good at, which was breakdancing. And breakdancing just became something I loved and something I was really good at. And I eventually made a career out of it and was actually on the TV show So You Think You Can Dance, and that kind of took me all around the world. And so the same dude who got me into dancing, you know, called me up one day and was like, Zach, you need to get in on this Instagram stuff. Like, me and my brother were making a ton of money, um, growing and selling accounts. Like, get in on this. And so with my about $10,000, I invested $10,000 into a 400,000 follower account and ended up only owning about 10% of it. And what we did is we just shouted out other people's accounts, promoting them on that Instagram account's wall, and did advertising and just rinsed and repeated the process, right? And so that's how we were growing people 8,000 to 12,000 followers a day. You know, some of the accounts that you see now that are really big, like some big time celebrities. I can't name all the names, but like, yeah, we grew them, and this was like 5 years ago.
That's incredible, man. So
Yeah.
that's something. Before we got this recording started, we were chatting a bit, and I totally forgot to bring up the whole breakdancing thing. So as you
Yeah.
know, I also used to break too, man. Like that
Oh.
was my life before I joined the military. So I was like
Oh, that's
traveling the
what's up.
U.S. I was breaking, man. Like it's funny. I was just for shits and giggles. I was trying some power moves upstairs my brother's house, and actually got a couple flares. I was like, wow, that's
Whoa.
pretty impressive. Not doing it for years.
That's the thing, man. I mean, it like once you practice things so much, like you still have it, that muscle memory. But I mean, still busting out it's like without. Oh, that's amazing. That's impressive, man. I love
Thanks,
it.
man.
I didn't know this about you. That's cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's awesome, right? So we have a little bit of chemistry behind all the business stuff, so that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, dude. So leading up to getting into buying that account that had 400,000 followers at 10 grand,
Yeah.
You were just getting started out, so you had a couple buddies who were already successfully doing it. And at that
Oh yeah.
time,
Yeah.
I remember that craze happening, right? So there was a lot of, uh, man, like to buy an account at that price. That was like back when you can get influencers at pretty much free.
Yes. Yes.
So
Man, it's the world has changed. The 2020, I mean, the game is different, but back like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I mean, my friend was buying these a million follower accounts for like $25,000, right? Or I mean, even less sometimes. It depended on the engagement and the niche, but I mean, he was just buying them left and right, and that's how he really dominated the space early on. And yeah, like influencers were like next to nothing. Like they would just, you know, do things for almost for free. It's crazy.
right. So this was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you start Assistagram right away, or and when you first bought that account, were
Yeah.
you 100% into Instagram, or did you have anything else going on?
Yeah, so at this time, it was actually a weird time in my life, right? Well, um, when I bought the account, I mean, I was at rock bottom, right? I was before that, I was teaching breakdance, right? Did the show that kind of kickstarted my career to teach dance all over the world, and so towards the end of my dance career, I was actually making $1,000 an hour just teaching dance workshops all around the world, and so I was living life. I was doing something I really loved, and all was good until I hurt my back and I injured myself and was rushed to the hospital. And doctor came in and was like, "You can't dance anymore. You're gonna have to have surgery." And that was a pretty dark, lonely time. And so it was that friend of mine who went to elementary school and high school with me that called me up and was like, "Hey, I know you're depressed, but I got this opportunity for you." And Instagram changed my life. So at that time, I wasn't doing it full time. It was more of a side hustle. And I only owned 10% of the 400,000 follower account. Like my friend, he's a smart business dude. We're still friends to this day. He's doing some other things now, but um, it was just that simple phone call that changed my life and got me into Instagram. And when I do something, even if it's a side hustle, man, I go all in. Like, I mean, I turn that side hustle into a full-time thing, and I figure out every little thing that I can about that, something I'm passionate about. Because that's what my mentor told me. He's like, if you want to go all in with this Instagram thing, you're already $10,000 deep. Like you might as well go like all in and learn everything that you can about it and start buying more accounts, start growing your own accounts, and start an agency. And so it wasn't until 2 years, 3 years after that I started Assistagram, my company, and made it into like a full-time thing.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. So yeah, so I guess when I first met you and we first talked a couple years ago, that's probably about a year and a half probably after you started this Instagram.
Yes, that was my very early beginning stages.
Nice,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. um
So when you
yeah.
first started this Instagram, what was the angle that were you just trying to figure out the approach, the strategy you wanted to go with it as far as who your demographic was? Were you going, were you, because I know you're also a big time traveler too. You
Yeah.
were traveling the world. I mean, that never gets out of your blood, right? So I'm a big traveler too, and I'm
Oh
always
yeah.
thinking about traveling. So I know that played a big part of it too, with I guess how you wanted to grow a Instagram and how you wanted your lifestyle to be while growing the company, right? So how
Yeah.
would you how would you describe the early days of Assistagram, what your approach was, like what your idea of the company was going to be as you know, I guess in a short term goal and like a long term goal?
Yeah. I love that question. Beginning, like right off the bat, we're like, okay, this is the thing that we want to be known for now, and the thing that we want to be known for forever. And that simple thing, it was like, think of Assistagram as your own personal virtual assistant. That's grinding on your account every day, creating content for you. posting for you, finding the hashtags, doing the engagement groups, the outreach, the lead gen, the whole work. So it's a complete hands-off experience where you have an expertly trained Instagram manager on your account 7 days a week. And so that was the product, right? And you know, back then, several years ago, like you could just simply post good content and grow, right? There's the organic growth and impressions wise. I mean, it was just a lot easier back then. Like you could post and use hashtags, and your account would grow a few thousand followers a month. And then after that, we created our own software, because back then you could do targeted follow unfollow, which is a growth strategy that a lot of people used. And you basically give the bot accounts and hashtags that you want to target, and it engages with them and follows them in hopes that they'll follow back. And so in the early stages, we're able to use that and really scale and grow the business. And then of course, automation is now dead, and if you're using automation, it really hurts your your account's going to get compromised. So we changed and shifted, pivoted. And so now how we grow accounts is all through targeted influencer shout outs. So we pair clients up with their ideal influencer, with their ideal types of followers, and we do hundreds of shout outs until people get their followers. So it's not like a Kim K campaign where you win bags or give away a prize or incentivize your followers to follow to win some money, because those don't really work, because they're not engaged, and then half of them unfollow after the competition. So we created a new solution that's working really well. But still to this day, I mean, we're sticking to our guns and the original product model, which is that done for you service, because people don't have time to create content. They have no clue how to create good content, and they don't want to be doing it. They don't want to be stuck on their phone like hours and hours a day doing this stuff. So that's something that's still working now.
Awesome. So yeah, I totally agree with the Kim Kardashian approach
Yeah.
to it. Uh, a company I'm part owner in right now is a company that I really scaled up recently.
Cool.
Did get into that, and
Yeah.
in the month of December, got over 100,000 followers. I don't know how many of those have dropped since then, but it was just a huge boost. But the what you pay and what you get from the reward from that, I mean, there's no telling. Besides, I guess you could say brand awareness from doing that, and that huge spike of growth can play a part into like the total the value of your company, if you will, when it comes
Yes.
to showing what you have as far as uh, marketplace awareness and whatever, and followers on social media. But in terms of like return on investment and things like that, maybe not so much. How does Assistagram, like, how do you, I know the data is clearly shown when it comes to uh, how many followers you're getting, right? And this is all
Yes.
white hat, 100% white hat, and uh, done for you services, which is amazing, because I don't know the first thing about Instagram, about
Yeah.
following an account, like building an account, besides making some hashtags. And there's so many different little pieces that you have to do on each and every single post, right? To ensure and know that you're not only with the influencers, to know that you're able to hit that threshold of guaranteed followers each month, um, which is an amazing like way to prove and back up the data that you've done for previous clients. You can say, hey, this is what I can do for you. Your new customer knows exactly what they're getting, and they know exactly they're paying. You pay what you get for. So, uh,
Yes.
you guys do things at the top of the scale, and they're going to
Yeah.
get top of the scale results. In returns of the ROI, how was that data put into scale there?
Yes. Yeah. So real quick, I want to touch on two things, because These influencer campaigns can work, guys. These giveaways, right? Obviously, it depends on your product and who is actually doing the giveaway. But I mean, if you have, like, for example, a young girl, teenager type product, clothing, and you partner with a model whose majority followers are that age group, right? Um, it can work, right? Where you get ROI. Just, I mean, let's say that the giveaway cost a few $1,000s. Like you could probably see, uh, your money back in some more sales, right? Obviously, it depends on a number of things, your funnel and how optimized everything is. But those can work. Now, as far as like ROI, there's some people just do it for the brand play, right? So people like Russell Brunson or Robert Kiyosaki, some clients of ours, like really smart marketing guys or entrepreneurs. They're doing it more for the brand play because they see people like Gary Vee, I mean, he's just dominating it right now, and it's like just being like omnipresent and being like, I mean, there's no really way that they can track like how many new people are coming and signing up for ClickFunnels, right? I mean,
Right.
we've been doing it for 2 years, and I mean, obviously they're a happy client, and I mean, otherwise they wouldn't be using us still and making a lot of money. Um,
Hmm.
but there's not like a direct way, like for if somebody's just doing it like a brand play. But we do work with a lot of e-commerce companies that sell these products and are getting great returns. And I think that's everybody's question is like, okay, like I said, like I just had a call with these guys, and they're the number one Amazon course in the world, tens and tens of thousands of students, and everybody's just like wondering, oh, okay, can you actually monetize on Instagram? So there are ways to do it. We do have systems in place where we can send mass DMs to people's followers, right? So we're also responsible for helping John Lee Dumas, like a podcaster, hit top 10, 7 affiliates for the Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi launch, right? With our
Nice.
DM messaging strategy. So we do have some different ways that we can generate ROI for our clients like that. Um, yeah,
Awesome.
I was
So
gonna say something else, but I forgot. Sorry.
it's all
Yeah,
good, man. So most of my followers are definitely e-commerce based. So I like to dive a little bit deeper in that.
yeah.
And so is it? Would you say it's a long-term play on Instagram, or can you even get an immediate ROI with your services if you're selling the physical product? I know it
Yeah.
all depends on what the product is and if they have everything set up on the back end correctly, sure. But
Oh, of course.
out of
Yeah.
your experience with working with some e-commerce clients who know what they're doing, they're already well established and whatnot. I'm sure there's the long term play. You want your social presence on Instagram consistently growing, and Instagram loves that too, guys. By the way, like they want to see that consistent growth. And if anything starts happening, I think I heard this from you actually. Like they're big on consistency, so
Yeah.
that's why, especially long term. But let's look at short term right now. What has been your experience? Like, it could just be like one example, right? Of like of the ROI that you've been able to get back to someone just off of doing these like a couple of different strategies that have been like really effective for launching a product on Instagram.
Yeah. So this is a deeper topic, like question too, because it's like anything in life, really, because like people want like things to work like magic, and they want like really fast results. Whether it's like me and you, we're doing keto right now, but it's like we don't have
Right.
like a magic pill that can just help us lose like 30 pounds, like just like that. And so it's the same thing with Instagram. I think a lot of people are like, hey, let's try it out for a month, and they're disappointed if they don't get a lot of sales way, right? Short term. Okay. Like any time that you're doing short term, it's not you're not creating something that's built to last long term. And so there's a lot of things that go into it. And so I tell any e-commerce brand that I'm working with, okay, first thing is, right, like what we said, the branding, the content strategy, right, the consistency, you know, because with greater content and more epic content comes better growth and more sales, right? It's really the content that is very, very important. Um, you know, making it sure that it resonates with your audience and gets them to click and pique their interest and gets them to opt in and to buy and to repost and share and save your content. That's very, very important. Um, but then once you have the content strategy and you're set up for that, for growth, you want to work with influencers. And now, not just one influencer or two, because a lot of people are like, yeah, I've tried that influencer thing, it doesn't work. They've paid maybe for a few shout outs and they didn't get any direct ROI. And they put all of their eggs all in one basket and said, hey, I paid $10,000 to this Olympian in Australia, gold medalist, and you know, I sold like 10 of my sunglasses products. You know, it didn't work. It wasn't worth it. And so what people don't know is a lot of these brands, they don't know how to work with influencers, how to you know, hustle your way in with these influencers, how to negotiate with them to make a win-win for them. And um you know, I always say that you need to work with an army, like a whole empire, right? You can figure out ways to get your products in some of these micro influencers that have maybe 10, 15, 20,000 followers. Like a lot of them will create content for you, post for you, and share your product for free, just in exchange for free products. Now there's different email scripts and cold scripts that you can use to pique their interest and help them and persuade them to see the value and work for free. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we figured out all, and we're doing all day long, is working with a whole army of these micro influencers, getting 300, 500 of them, you know, all for free. And then, you know, creating that brand awareness, user generated content. And then as we're making money, we do invest in a couple of other big time celebrities, get them to endorse and use their products, because it's about that branding. Okay, because this person is using this product, it must be legit. Because Zach's Instagram account's verified, got the blue check mark, it must be legit. It's weird how this world thinks, but these little things matter. And if you're able to figure it out like that, then yeah, you're gonna make a lot of sales.
Yeah, for sure. And guys, I know that I completely caught you off guard there with that question.
Yeah,
And I did it on purpose too. And the
yeah,
reason why is because I'll give you a quick example. There's bullshitters who will tell you what you want to hear and use this platform he has right here to just say a whole bunch of good answers. Oh yeah, I can get you a ROI positive. You
yeah,
know, this is how we're gonna do it. And just jot down a whole bunch of BS. Um, to give a really good example on that, just last week we had a talk with someone who was going to run some of our manual campaigns in our emails,
yeah.
and she was literally telling us exactly like how much we should be expecting to make per email. I'm
Hmm.
like, first of all, you don't even know much about our product, about
Yeah,
our upsells, cross sells, how large. I mean, she knew a little bit like how large our email list was, but to guarantee results like that right away, as soon as my partner told me that, I was like, no, we're not working with her.
yeah,
As soon as I saw that red flag. So I wanted to throw this out there because I literally just put Zach on the spot. And he's the first, you said right away, this is a deep question.
yeah,
And I like that. I like how you said that because deep means long, like long
yes,
term. And if
yeah,
you're not thinking long term with your brand, and you're just thinking tactical, short, you know, aggressive, like trying to go really aggressive and try and make a big splash in the very beginning because you just don't have the patience or whatever it may be. You're playing in the wrong game. You have to go long term with your brand, especially if you want to build a big asset here. And and that's just the way of business, right? People need to learn
yeah,
how to have some patience, but also work with the best people in their respected fields that know the best strategies for that field,
yes.
right? And that's why I asked that
Yeah,
question, man, because everything
exactly.
you
I like
said
how,
right there was
yeah.
branding and strategy.
Well, yeah, it's so important. I mean, think about it. Like, you know, you talk to some people and you're like, you wonder, like, how the heck did you get into that social circle, right? Like, where you're hanging out with the big dogs and you know, millionaires and billionaires, and it's like, you know, it took me several years, right? They had to hustle their way in and you know maybe pay for masterminds and make a name for themselves and become known in their field and expertise. And so, I mean, yeah, like now that, you know, 4 years later, it's like they're hanging with a really influential, successful community. Like that could be life changing, but it took them 4 years, guys, minimum. And so, I mean, it's just like anything in life, you know, it's all about people, all about relationships. Because the more people that you have um, raving raving fans about your brand and products, I mean, that's exactly what our mutual friend Josh E is doing. You know, Josh Snow. I mean, and you know, he's got everybody promoting Snow, and you know, of course you can hire experts like Josh. You can hire experts like me, and that shaves time off your learning curve, right? So you don't have to make the same mistakes. But there's stuff that you do, you know, that you have to do to reach the top. And if not, and you want a short term gain, that's fine. We can do that, but overall, you're just not going to be making as much money and not going to be as happy as if you would, you know, you were doing it for the long term and building something that's built to last for
Right.
years to come, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I mean, that ties into the way I see a lot of people in e-commerce wanting to hit Instagram is because they know that the lifespan of an influencer making a post, it does eventually get buried. So like a lot of
Yes.
people say, let's get on YouTube instead, where that's where they're already doing their search inquiries. I think there's a study that's like 55% of people will search on YouTube or search on videos, get other people's reviews before they go and purchase a product, right? So it definitely makes sense to work with influencers on YouTube side, but on the Instagram side, I think people got too headstrong on just getting, I guess, wishful thinking. That
Yeah.
it's like you said, if they get that Olympian in Australia to make a post, that they're going to get an ROI like right away.
Yeah.
And I've seen some instances where people have said like they got 10 different influencers, but only one or two of them got the ROI. And overall, they're positive. But I'm like, man, like if that's how you're going to put that much energy into something and you're doing it yourself, like that's a lot of wasted energy. If you're
Yeah.
doing it yourself and you're just like wishful thinking that you're going to be a
Well,
lot higher in the ROI side on the short term.
exactly. And you know, again, it's just like I think a lot of people are lazy, like including I've been lazy myself, where you know there's times in life where there's things that I don't want to do. Like I'm just like, okay, I'll just pass it off to this person, or you know, I don't have to learn this for myself. I can just have someone else do it. But you know, when you put your power and energy and eggs and all in that person's basket, right? And are totally dependent and reliant like on them, they could fail you and then you could be done. So that's why it's like building that foundation internally for your own self, your own brand, and then also the your products brand, right? That's again the content strategy, the um you know, brand analysis, like everything, right? Like is so important. And then building out the funnels and everything, like that's, yeah, of
Oh, for
course.
sure, man. So
Yeah.
so let's talk on that, man. Let's guide someone through a journey of what they should expect and what they know they're getting themselves into if they worked with Assistagram, right?
Yeah.
So you just started saying about the foundation, right? You want to
Mhm.
make sure all your foundation is right. There's a lot of things that go into that play, how your messaging is, the hashtags you're using, uh, your team getting familiar with the branding that's currently going on, you know, what we're currently already posting, right? Um, so that's like the whole foundation. That's a few things of the foundation. And then how does it lead up from there? and again, we're looking at long term, right?
Yes.
So before you mentioned how this is something else. This is a side note because it goes into conjunction what you mentioned before. Is that it's not only about the influencers that you guys are able to get in this space as it is right now, but as you go through this month in month out, you're getting more and more Instagram influencers. Like you're getting
Yes.
a much larger network, right? Like you
Yeah.
said,
Well, I
220
mean,
million
yes, it's now
Instagram
like
followers.
230 million. And so, I mean, just yesterday I bought an account for like, well, I bought a 900,000 follower account. So, I mean, guys, every single week I'm investing my own money back into accounts that I can acquire and making partnerships with new influencers and influencer agencies and, figuring out win-win. So, I mean, we just keep on growing, and that's what we have to do to stay on top. To be number one, it's like you got to keep on growing. It's like I could just stay at 220, but it's like no, I want to like have a billion.
Right.
You know what
So
I'm saying?
yeah, man. So like this is the cool thing that I just want the listeners to like understand here is that this is a full system. You guys have it with a Systagram
Yeah,
because a lot of people, if they want to do, and they want to build their own uh, Instagram account by themselves, or I guess maybe hire some girl who says that she kind of knows what she's doing, whatever, right? To make a post every day. I mean, right now we have someone on our team who who's making a post every day. The branding, the images are nice, the full of hashtags and stuff like that. The basics, right?
yeah,
However, what you guys do, you guys take the whole approach on the building the Instagram following, um, and how to do that even without influencers to its max degree. And then you mix that with the big influencer network that you already have currently. And then you also mix it with, you know, what more influencers you're going to have down the line too when you're buying all these new accounts. So
yeah,
like for me, I'm looking at it like, look, if I worked with a Systagram, I don't have to build the account myself because I know I'm leaving a lot of money on the table doing that by itself. I also don't have to go to all these different websites to get Instagram influencers and pay someone for my team to do the outreach there
yeah.
because you guys already have all those SOPs put together on your team. You
Yes,
guys have
it's
everything set up with all that combined.
yeah.
So
Let
that's
me let
amazing.
me Yeah, I mean it's we're still like improving and growing every single day. Lots to learn, lots more further to go, right? More growth to come. But yeah, think of a Instagram as like the one-stop shop. So when you guys want to get seen, known all over the place, I mean, you come to us and we take care of you. And so I mean, and it's crazy when you want to launch something, whether it's a book or a new podcast or a new course, right? Recently, we just helped someone. We can't take all the credit, but he's in the e-com space, and I guess his launch did in 30 days like 2 million almost,
Nice.
and he was like the big part of it was because of Systagram and what we helped him with, which was not only Instagram, right, but I mean, we're growth hackers, so we helped him get verified, right? We can get that blue check on Facebook when he's running ads to cold traffic, on Instagram as well. We got him in some major publications, press, which helps as well. That social proof, that street cred, and then on podcasts, ecom related, that has, they have millions and millions of downloads, and that helped for sure. Like, direct ROI, like exact numbers, no, but like when somebody says something like that, it's like it's cool to be a part of it. And so that's why it's all about branding, right? It's yeah, Instagram is one major traffic source that everybody should be using when if you want to blow up on with e-commerce. Um, you know, but there's other parts that you have to do, get the press and create that buzz, getting on the podcast, sharing your story, sharing your company vision, because people Google you, they Google your company, they Google like the founder and CEO, and want to know who, and all of this stuff is very important when you're trying to build a brand that everybody knows.
Absolutely, man. So I guess I had a question that just came to mind too.
Yeah.
And this is something that just came to mind. I didn't even think of it before, but I was just thinking of the approach of what we're doing on the SEO front and trying to get more real estate and not just doing SEO on our website alone. Uh, do you have clients who have more than one Instagram account so they can get more eyeballs and everything, or do you recommend only sticking to one Instagram account?
I mean, I always say two is better than one. So, I mean, usually I tell people like let's say that somebody's trying to build their personal brand. It's like, okay, you could have your personal page, and then you could have this other page that's also driving traffic to maybe your podcast, right? And so I tell people, like, even like e-com companies, like, you could have your main page that's all of like your kind of more professional branded type content, and you know info about your products and stuff, right? We've all seen those types of pages. um, but then I tell them to create a repost page, right? So I mean, if you have like a diet pill or supplement, for example, and that's what your main page is about. I mean, you could create like a repost fitness page where it's like before and afters, or people doing crazy workouts, or you've seen this type of viral content on Instagram, because as soon as you open up the home page, Instagram shows you that stuff, right? So if you're liking and commenting and searching for this type of content, Instagram's going to show you the stuff that's gone most viral. And we, in this case, we would find those types of videos and fitness videos and pictures that have gone viral and repost them onto this. Maybe it could be called like Boss Fit Guides, or an account name like that, and then we'd use that page to drive traffic to the main page and generate sales and help grow that page as well.
Interesting, man. So yeah, it just all depends on the product you're selling, who your demographic is,
Yeah.
so on and so forth, right? So we know there's a lot larger of a younger audience on Instagram right now.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, so I have another question here. So I just want to get a little deeper into Assistagram so people know, besides what they can see on the website, right? I'm looking at the website right now on this
Yeah.
other monitor. Um, what else can you tell us about Instagram? Where are you guys like heading, and how would you say you are different than uh, any other company that helps people grow their accounts with influencers, without influencers, everything Instagram related?
Yeah, so I mean, we're different, like, for one, because I mean, now we don't use any type of automation. We don't use any type of like um automated tool really that helps you get likes or get views or any of that kind of stuff, because Instagram's algorithms are so smart that they can detect that now. And if you're using it or using a story viewer or a follow unfollow tool, um your account will get shut down, right? So people are like, is a cystogram a tool? No, it's not. Well, we used to have a tool, yes, but because and that was like in early 2017. But since then, we've changed, right? So now it's just straight up human power, right?
Right.
And you know, I wouldn't say a lot of. I would say majority of the companies are using some type of false engagement group, right? Meaning that you check out their profiles, right, and you can see these models and these big people, and then they're like, whoa, like, okay, um how are they getting so many likes or these comments and stuff? And so a lot of them are using these groups to pump up the engagement. And so, like, for premium packages, we don't use any of that stuff, because again, Instagram is like, nah, like, that's not good for your account. Okay, and so they kind of like put you in a penalty box, and um you don't get as much exposure, as many impressions, real impressions, real reach. Okay, and so if you're using that type of stuff, then and trying to work with a big brand, I mean, they're going to ask for all those insights, and your insights and stuff are going to be jacked up and messed up. And so um again, that's makes us different because we don't use that stuff. So I would say really just think of, yeah, Assistagram is just a done for you service, right? The one-stop shop, and straight up human, real power, right? Real people, real results. That's what we say. So
Awesome, man.
yeah,
And not just that, but the real power, real people, pushing everything. You're staying ahead of the curve, so you know what not to do that can drop the red flags from Instagram. Again, this all ties into thinking long term with your brand. Because I mean, why do something if you know a year from now it can get dinged and your account is done for? It's just a
yeah,
whole waste of time, right?
yeah, exactly. And I mean, we have all of these, such a big network, right? So it's like, yeah, we do have some engagement groups, but they're not run by a robot. They're run by real people, and we have people like grinding and cranking on these accounts hours and hours a day, right? And it's cool because we're helping a lot of people, and doing it, I would say, in a real organic way. Like, we do have some semi-organic methods like these engagement groups, but they're run by real humans, which will overall be better for your account. So yeah.
Right. So, I mean, on the working side, like, what's the work that what is the work that's being implemented to your Instagram account? That is it's already at premium with you guys with that alone. But
Yeah,
that's not, I wouldn't say that's even the most important piece. I'd say
yeah,
an even more important piece you guys have is the network you guys have and the relationships you guys have, which relationships trump everything, right?
yes, yeah,
You know, I learned
that's
this from Ed
that's it.
O'Keefe and Roland Fraser. I was at one
Yeah,
of Ed's events.
yeah, I
He was
love
listing
that.
out a bunch of different things of what's going to help you time collapse and get to that next level. And he said the number one thing, guys, and he called out Roland. He was like, "What is it?" And Roland's like, "It's relationships."
Ooh,
And when I heard that, that was like 4 years ago. This is 2016, right? And I was just starting to come up in the ecom gig, and I was just like, Gary V, hustle, 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 work hard. But it's now like, even I'd say in the past year or so, I've been really focusing keying on relationships because it is the absolute game changer. And that you
yes,
guys have that. You guys have a huge network base, not just followers, like you said, you're buying more accounts. That's awesome. I mean, that just ties into the work ethic you're putting into it. But the let's talk about real quick the networking and the relationships that you guys have
yeah.
associated with this Instagram and how powerful that can be for anyone who's just starting with you guys from the get go.
Yeah, so I mean, I love it. I love it because Roland also taught me that relationships aren't transactional, and this is a lesson I had to learn because I was like, okay, if I do this, then I should get this, right? And it's not always how it works. When you have the mindset of abundance and you give freely and you give with no strings attached, and you give simply because you can help somebody, your life will start to change. And so that's how I made a lot of these relationships with these big time celebrities. And I mean, just we have connections to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I helped some people get connected with the Rock's team, and talk about bringing him out to speak at one of their events. We're connected with um, the Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates. All of these people, right? So big, really big time legends and celebrities. And again, it was just like simply by doing good work for strangers, right? And proving ourselves, like, hey, we can do good work for you. We want to create a relationship with you. We want to charge you a fair price. We want to support you in many, many ways. And you know um, plain and simple, what I guess one of my strategies that I've done to create some of these relationships is just helping people in such a short period of time, or even for a couple of years, and then they in return help me. And so I mean, and one story was like this, right? I'll leave you guys with this cool influencer story. It was like how I got connected to through to Beyonce and Jay-Z. And I'm Korean. I was born in Korea, adopted, grew up in Iowa, but then several years ago I went back to Korea and found my birth mom. And while I was there in Korea, I was studying, learning Korean, and also trying to grow my business. And um, I came back and forth. And so the last one of the let me see, this was two years ago. 2 years ago, I was like, I want to get connected with like the biggest hip hop stars in Korea because I'm a break dancer. I like hip hop. So I contacted this guy named Jay Park, who was the only guy who was signed by Jay-Z's Rock Nation label, the first Asian American to be signed by Rock Nation and Jay-Z. And he's got over 4 million followers now, and he's the biggest in Korea and Asia. And I reached out to him, DM'd him, no answer. Reached out to his crew, his um, whole crew, no answer. And then I like reached out to his DJ at the time. And now this DJ is the CEO of his whole entire company. And I said, I noticed he only had 80,000 Instagram followers. And so I said, hey, it'd be cool to, collaborate and work on your account. Like, I love your guys' music. I'm a big fan. And, I'd like to do this for you. And, we ended up meeting JW Marriott Hotel and had a meeting. And I worked on his account for a year for free. And because I was able to do that, because guys, when you're trying to work with celebrities and talk to these people, a lot of them have been burned and scammed, and they think that people are just trying to use them and take advantage of them and get something from them. So when you can figure out a way to just simply do things for free because you're a big fan or you like their music, for example, like this time, I didn't expect anything to happen, but then he connected me with Jay Park, and then I got connected with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and long story short, that's what happened. But you got to be willing to invest in others, and then great things will happen.
For sure, man. So you got to actually physically meet Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah, well, we've gotten to work on some projects together. So I haven't
Nice, man.
actually physically met them, taken a selfie, but I'm creating a story.
Man,
That's much more important than a selfie.
that's incredible, man. I actually I'm friends with Ludacris's drummer. He's been
Yeah,
Ludacris's drummer for the past like 15 years, and they're like
yeah.
pretty much brothers, man. So I'm gonna have to connect you.
Dude, I'd love that, man. It's true. Yeah, I'd love to
Yeah,
like connect with more people, man. So
yeah, man.
you're
You
always
guys see,
connecting
here's
me.
the relationships. Like you just help each other out. Like it's amazing what you can do. Just say, hey, if you're connected with the right people, and there you go. Um, and just one connection leads to another, right? And you're offering free services like that. It's so crazy how far you can go and how fast just by saying like, hey, I really like your stuff. I want to help you out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
really
that's
cool, man.
that's what I do. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So I have two more questions for you.
Yes.
One's going to be more the Instagram related side, and the other one's going to be more on the fun side, stuff that you're kind of doing on the side with this Instagram
Yeah.
that's really freaking cool.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I want
Sure.
to be a part of it, and I want to know more of how you're doing that because this is also outside e-commerce related too. So you
Yeah.
guys who have a personal brand, this is really cool. But let's start with this question. So we get we get started with a cystogram, right? And you have a huge base of different people who fit the demographic who are going to make a post about your product and so on and so forth, and who will hopefully continue making posts, be a brand ambassador. How can that lead up to um, I guess I could say you can either give an experience or of what happened in the past, or you can give like an example of how it can lead up to much larger Instagram influencers. So, do you guys work in the range of like the 10 to 100,000 and maybe stay in that boat, or do you guys have access to the real big ones that are a million plus? And who do you like to work with in
Yep.
general? And what type of influencers and how many followers? What's like the best pool to be swimming in there?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of break them down into categories, like we've all heard the word like, Hollywood A-lister, B-lister, tier one, two, or three. So we have all different types of tiers of influencers, right? Anyone from, any 10 to 100,000 followers to 100,000 to 15 million followers, right? Plus. So it really just depends on the campaign and the client and their goals. If yeah, it really does. But I mean, we have access to them all. So and different options and different products. So it really just depends on like, okay, do they want to grow? Um, how much do they want to grow? How fast, right? Um, and then okay, you have a product, like when does it launch, when, how many influencers do you want to work with, and then we figure out a budget, like, okay, if you want this many influencers, it's going to cost this much, um, and we kind of work through it that way. So
Yeah,
customized plans.
awesome, man. Yeah, it's exactly what I was about to say. Customized to exactly what you want to
Yeah.
reach or exactly what you want to do. And if you're not sure exactly what exactly your approach you want to do, I mean, the onboarding session, I'm sure you or someone from this Instagram team go on and say, hey,
Mhm.
like, oh, what's your vision for the company? What's
Yeah, we figure it out all for you, because the thing is, that's why people pay us, right? That's why we're going to do, research and do our homework and do the analysis and figure out like, okay, what do you really need, and then we'll guide you and tell you what to do, as well, cuz I figured that out like early on. Just people want to be like led. People want to be told like what to do, especially, and people want it done for them. And so that's why I was like, okay, this is why it's okay. If we figure out the best done for you service, Instagram service ever, like we're gonna really blow up. So, I mean, like we do have some basic products that are, a couple thousand a month, and then we have some big ones that are, 10, 20, 50,000 a month, just for growth and management. So, and obviously we use different growth strategies, because there's a lot of different ways to grow still on Instagram
yeah.
that people don't know.
Yeah, it just all depends on what you're looking for. So this is something I wanted to chime in earlier in the interview. And it's something I told a couple prior guests, Michael Jordan, Joe Scott. It's like Michael Jordan, like he eats and breathes. I'm going to leave the S word out because I'm trying to keep as less curse words out of YouTube as possible because they, I guess, limit the reach or whatever. I'm not too hip on it. But he's awesome at Amazon FBA when it comes to launching your product on there, blah blah blah. And Joe's awesome at SEO and really good at it with e-commerce in general. And then I have BGS that I work with. Geez, I mean, no one's better than them for revenue optimization, optimizing your website, and having all your touch points and backend set up correctly for your e-com brand. And then, so I just choose to work with the best of the best. Like who are
Yeah.
people who are, this is what they are masters at. Like they're not doing this and doing two other things. Like this is what they are masters at. This is what they do.
Yes.
And when you have that, that plays a huge toll of knowing how you're going to grow by partnering with that person, because your, again, your relationships, your network is going to continue growing and growing. I'd rather be with you with someone who has that huge amount of knowledge and work ethic you're already putting into their brands as far as the follower base and how you're posting on Instagram, but the relationship side and networking side. I want to grow with that as you're growing with that. I want to grow with BGS as they're growing with new ways of making more revenue per customer to my site, where that's the master, that they're masters at that, right? So right now I'm working with Harmon Brothers um, with my video content. They are the absolute best when it comes to physical products and video. So I'm just letting everyone know, like, out of everyone I personally know, when it comes to Instagram, Zach's the Zach's the guy. Zach's the man. And and that's why I know eventually we're gonna be working together. Our Blossom is a baby right now. It's a real baby, but
Yeah,
that's why I
that'll be
wanted
fun.
you on here too, man. To just share with everyone who I personally know is the best in their different fields. So um, let's. I want to go off to one more question, man. And
Yes, let's
we
do it.
talked about this a little bit before we started the call here,
Yeah,
and that's the cool thing that you're doing with the win-win situation of working with luxury brands, influencers, e-com brand owners, whatever it may be,
yeah.
while traveling and staying in exotic
Oh yeah,
places at, you know, where everyone just has an amazing experience and everyone gets to work and collaborate together and all, everyone gets a win-win situation out of it. I would love to hear from you, like, just
yeah.
share with everyone what you told me, because that
Okay.
that shocked me, man.
Yeah, well, so in the past 3 years that I've been doing this, it's been 3 years, but I figured out a way to get over 720 nights for free for myself and my friends, my business partners in the past 3 years. And I've done it all through Instagram and by creating win-wins for people. So I'm not like one of those influencers where I feel like I'm entitled to all this free stuff. I've really created ways that I feel like are really helping a lot of these luxury brands, luxury hotels, and tourism boards. And so, I created this solution, and it's awesome, man, because it's like, okay, hotels, they're always looking for like more guests, more tourist visits. Countries are looking for more tourist visits. Now, brands, ecom, like supplement companies, they're always like products. They're always looking to put their products in people's hands, like big time celebrities and models and influencers. And everybody loves to travel and have an awesome, epic vacation with their new friends and loved ones, right? So what I do, guys, is I first seal a deal with the hotel. So like, let's say I have a hotel in the Maldives, and one just recently offered me 40 villas for 10 to 15 nights for free. The whole works: breakfast, lunch, dinner, spa experiences, private seaplane that drops in front of the water. Next level stuff. $3,000 a night is their low end room, and I got 40 rooms all for free. So I'm gonna be bringing everybody, it, and so I give them amazing value, right? So I'm like, hey, we can create all of your content. We can put you on this page. On this page, we're gonna get you so many impressions, so much reach, so much growth. Plus, I'm gonna have all of these amazing A-listers and celebrities coming through your door from countries that you're targeting. Okay, and so that's like, oh, that hits all the checks, because a lot of people are just like, hey, I'll come if you can give me a few free nights, and I'll do a few free posts, right? So we're really, the value ladder and offer is insane. So I work out a deal with the hotel, and then I reach out to supplement companies or like product companies, and I get them to sponsor the influencers and celebrities plane tickets. Okay, so it's like an easy win, because that's not expensive to pay like a um, for like 10 influencers flights. They're gonna get all of this amazing epic content, this beautiful destination, and it's gonna help their brand out a lot. And then plus, like, those posts will go viral because it's in an epic location like the Maldives. And then and so then I get those three things like all working together, and that's how I travel the world for free for myself. And that's my lifestyle, man. Every single week I'm in another country, another culture, but then I'm creating these relationships with these new people online, and creating epic memories with them, and they remember that, and pay me back by giving me cheaper shout out rates, like when I have clients that need some post, or a client that needs growth. And yeah, it's just it's something that I've been working really hard at, and that's really working well. So I do it that way, and then, of course, a lot of people throw their own masterminds and events, and so I'm kind of like that guy, who helps them get all of these hotels rooms and conference rooms and space for free, or for like 60% ton of money. That helps them, and then, you know I usually get a speaker spot too.
Dude, that is killer, man. There's this. I've seen you post about this quite a
Yeah,
few times, but I didn't
yeah,
know the level at the magnitude you're doing it. I thought it was more so just personal, you
yeah,
traveling to all these different destinations and doing that. Like that's awesome. So I also seen that you posted somewhere like how you can do it personally for yourself if you have like at least 10,000 followers.
yeah.
You have some type of value that you can give them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I tell people, like, the way I teach people, you can do this without a credit card and all these points. You can do it without even your own personal Instagram account, right? And so, I mean, I have Academy about this, but the principles are simple. It's like, create a repost travel account, grow it by reposting other people's epic viral travel content, creating yourself your own travel repost page, right? So you don't have to spend any money or time really creating the content because it's already out there. Use some strategies that I've shared in some of my other talks, and grow that travel account, and that becomes your travel asset. And then pay to get into these engagement groups, um, and network with people who have bigger accounts than you, that have 100,000 followers or million followers. Ask them, how much does it cost for a shout out on your page, and then pay them for that, and then use and leverage their accounts when you're approaching hotels. So then you can say, hey, me and my friends, we have a network of 2 million followers on all travel, like 2 million strong. And even though you don't own these accounts, you can, isn't it a lot better to just pay like $100 on a um 500,000 follower account than spending like $2,000 a night, right? so so you
Exactly.
pretty much get it for free. I mean, you might have to spend a few $100s, but it's worth it
Oh,
if
absolutely,
you
man.
don't have your own assets. But I mean, obviously, it's better to have your own Instagram accounts and do it that way if you can build them up. So, but yeah, if you don't, that's the way.
Yeah, and dude, if you have a girlfriend or wife, I mean,
Yeah,
everything's double, right? So it makes even more sense to do this.
yeah, totally, man. It's so
I got
that's
my
my
wife, man.
strategy.
Dude,
That's
yeah,
my
I
strategy.
gotta I gotta jump on that. I mean, I've known about it for a while,
Yeah,
and kind of like you, like the way we travel is very sporadic. It's just like we don't know when it's gonna happen. Like, after this whole quarantine's over, I think we're going to Japan. It was around this time last year we went to Japan, and I don't know what we're doing, but we're going to some places. I think we might even go to Maldives. So, but
sick.
yeah, I gotta check this out, man. So the rest of you guys too. He does have this academy as
Yeah,
well. So let's lead off into this, man. Um, this is this is incredible. We deep dived a lot on Assistagram. That was awesome, dude. And I want everyone to know, like, where can they find you? Like, do they contact you at Assistagram's website on the?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'd love to connect with all of you guys, because I mean, anyone that or that's listening to this podcast is going to be legit. And plus, I mean, I love to connect with people. I love to hear your story. I'd love to hop on a call and figure out how we can create win-wins and work together on some things. And so you can find me on the assistagram.us website. um, you can book a call, or personally reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram. My name's Zach Benson, and my account name on Instagram is Zach Vacay. So Zach Vacay, yeah, I mean, hit me up, DM me. Would love to chat. So yeah, thanks for your time, and this has been awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for your time, man. You're the
Yeah,
guest.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no
everyone, I'm
problem.
gonna be putting those links down below in the description. So yeah, definitely reach out to him. Zach's freaking awesome. Actually, like, we need to talk more often, man. Like, we
Yeah,
we we barely know each other. I just
yeah,
from a couple like hour-long talks I've had with Instagram and following him, I know he's like the go-to guy and like I mentioned at the very beginning, he's the king of this. If you guys knew all the stages and everything he's been sharing with big time players and all his celebrities, a few that you mentioned, guys, his momentum is just on that hockey stick upward swing right now, and he's the guy to be connected with in the Instagram game. So go find him in those links below in the description. Be sure to reach out to him. He's super personal. He won't bite. He's very very humble, as you see here, and he's just a great friend. And dude, we got to chat some more, as
Yeah,
a lot
I'm
more about this
down.
travel stuff too.
I'm down. Let's meet up somewhere like maybe in Japan or Korea or yeah, I'm probably going to be in Asia soon, so we'll link up for sure.
I'll be
And
too, man.
yeah, man, let's do it. Sounds good.
Sound, sounds good, man.
All
All
right.
right, guys. Hope you all liked it. We'll have him on again. Hopefully, maybe within a year or so, and see what else he's doing with his Instagram. And yep, catch you next time.